Hello everyone! I bet when you got home after seeing this magic trick and found all these supplies in your kit, you may have been a little surprised and possibly confused. But now you know that the secret to the trick is not that there's one block that goes in the tube and comes out the other end a different color, but that there are two. And when you put the second block in, you have to tilt the tube a little bit so that the hidden one comes out. I'm going to teach you how to construct your tube in order to perform this trick. What you're going to do is take your two toilet paper tubes and cap one end on each tube. You're going to use the red circles for this because they're the perfect shape and size. Put the circle on the end of the tube and then use some good strong tape. I'm using duct tape today, but when I made this tube, I used some packing tape. Any kind of tape that's stronger than Scotch tape will work just fine. Tear off a strip, fold this over, make sure it's nice and tight. See what I did there? Not nearly tight enough. In fact, I'm going to cut myself a whole new piece of tape here. I might have some trouble because of how I did this, but that's okay. We're learning as we go. And one of the most important things of being a magician is creating your own tricks and building things that will help you to perform those tricks. What you want to do, I did this wrong when I first started showing you the instructions. You want to use your tape to control the sides so that the tip stays on, the cap stays on the tip of your tube. So you're only going to put tape around the sides at first. And you may want to use masking tape because that will work very well. I used that for one of the tubes that I originally built. And once you have your tape secured around the edges, then you can start to tape over the top in order to get your cap nice and secure. So now, when I drop the block in there, the cap will never come off no matter how hard I knock it. But don't make a habit of knocking it really hard because you might break it anyways. After all, it's just a piece of paper and some tape. So now we're going to put the second cap on, and then I'll show you how to attach the paper so that no one sees that you have two capped pieces of toilet paper tubes instead of one paper towel tube, which is what you're supposed to see. So you're going to want to put one piece of tape on so that the lid stays in place, and then you're going to use your tape to secure it all the way around the ends. And don't put the tape on too tight when you first cap it, because as you can see, my cover has a hole in it. Fortunately, once we put all the tape in place, the hole won't be visible and it won't matter in the slightest because we're going to cover it up with a little more tape, and that will secure the cap on this tube. What we want to do here is cover the entire top of my toilet paper tube in the tape so that it's nice and strong and nice and covered up. Now we'll test it with the block. And sure enough, it's just as good. Now take the two tubes, place them next to each other, and then put them inside your thin sheet of paper. You're going to have to trim this eventually, but when you're first starting out, you want to make sure that both ends wrap around, and then you can cut down with your scissors and trim the edges off so that it only goes just beyond the edge of the tube. And this is why we have the black paper, so that nobody sees this ugly mess. You're going to cover it up, and then you want to use some glue to secure this in place. Because this video has been going for 5 minutes already, I'm not going to show you how to glue this in place. I'm sure you can place a little bit of glue right on the edge of your paper here, roll it up, hold it tight while it dries out, and then you will have a nice tube just like this one, except without the black ends. In order to make the black ends, you're going to take your two strips of black paper and glue them onto the edges of your tube and trim them down so that it looks exactly like the tube I made for the trick that I showed you when you came to the library for our in-person program. When you're performing this trick, before you get on stage, before anyone shows up, you want to preload the tube with one block. It doesn't matter which one. You have 2 different colored blocks in your kits. Each time you practice it, you can use a different color in the bottom. That will work just fine. Then you tell the audience that you have a magic tube that can change the color of your blocks. Put the block in the end of the tube. Hold it so that the tube is slightly crooked, and when you tilt your hand just a little bit further. What the heck? That took way too much effort. We're going to practice that over and over until we have it down perfect. Because now, as you can see, if I have it tilted just the right angle, it comes sliding out. So, place your block in the tube and hold it at an angle so that it looks like it's straight, but not quite. Tell the audience what you're doing with the block, drop it in, and then allow the tube to tilt slightly so that the concealed block falls right into your hand. Because you're going to need a couple of hands to do this trick, you may not want to use your magic wand, or you may want to use your magic wand. Practice it both ways, see what feels most natural for you. Maybe you'll want your block to fall out onto the table. That will work too. Onto the floor, however you think this trick will work best, that's what you are going to do. So put your tubes together and practice until you can do this trick better than I can. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.